All right, I'm going to try one more, also for nostalgic reasons. I think actually the last time I did this was in 1997 in San Francisco. And I haven't much done it since, but I just got The Best of the Best by Darwin Ortiz. And I think I ought to do this again. At the time I did it for some magicians, for a magic club in San Francisco. And I think it's actually quite good. So the idea is you have a card in the red pack, and it's a mystery card. It goes in there, it's a mystery card. The idea being, you look at it, somewhere in there is a mystery card. You don't know what it is just yet, but we'll get to it. Before I even start, I put in a mystery card, what have you. I also need some cards from the blue deck, of course. And the cards in the blue deck, which you can produce any way you see fit. They're the four queens. So they have blue backs, there are four queens, and you don't need any of the other blue cards. We'll set those aside. That's all you need. And also, you need to choose a card, of course. So as I go through the cards, just whenever you see a number card, you say stop, and you say stop on the, I don't know, 8 of hearts. That's going to be your card, and 8 of hearts, I want you to sign this, and you could sign this, and it's good enough to know that you could sign it. Let's pretend that you signed it. It goes in between the queens, and it's about a vanish. It's a slow motion vanish, if you will. So there's one red card in between them. Magic happens. Magically, what you have left is nothing but 4 cards, namely the 4 queens, and that's whatever it is. It's very magical. Just make sure that the camera catches this. And not only did it vanish here, but in the beginning we had a mystery card, and of course the mystery card we set aside from the very beginning. It's not just any card, but it is in fact your assigned whatever. You're assigned 8 of hearts because you freely chose the 8 of hearts, and then you can take the rest of the cards and set those, put those back, and you're clean, and that's it. Again, you have the book, but I'll go over it anyway because I want to try doing this a bit more. So there's a few tricks. You're just talking about this all backs routine of yours that you know you've done before. You know they're effective, and then you just haven't done them in a long time. So and then you see other folks do them, and you figure, well, why have I stopped doing those? It's one of those. I think it's very, very good. Again, not much of a magician fool, but I'll go through it as much for myself as for you, so just to make sure that I don't forget. You take one card out of the red deck, which you don't show anyone, and in this case it's the Queen of Hearts. You can take it out whenever you feel like it, but I think you might as well do it at the very beginning. Put it face down in the center, and you show that there's one face down card in the center. It's the before and after picture that you're trying to go for. It's face down in the center, and you double undercut it 2 seconds from the bottom. It's one card, nobody knows where it is, what have you. And you take out these cards. By the way, while we're on the subject, just because what I like, I know you've seen it recently, is this sort of revelation from this Fernando guy. I'm playing around with this, but it's kind of nice, and so you have this sort of revelation. Anyway, but however you want to reveal those, you have the 4 queens, and on Best of the Best, one of the things that Darwin Ortiz does a lot is to get rid of one card. And one of the things that I've never liked is the idea of getting rid of one card like so, because, well, I don't much care for that. but it is serviceable. One thing that Jack Carpenter does in a similar situation, he'll turn those cards face down and he'll in-jog the card that he wants to get rid of, and rather than pulling up on the in-jog as you would if you take off the 4 cards, he pushes down on it, and then you have 4 cards. Alright, fair enough. Better. One thing that I do in a situation of that nature is I cop 1 card, set those cards aside, add those cards to the deck that I'm using, and double undercut, the Vernon Hindu Shuffle sort of 1 card transfer to the top. I think that's very clean. What he has in this case, apparently this is a thing from a guy named Ali Cook in England, where you show the cards, and then you do essentially a KM move, setting these cards down and stealing the card at the back when you pick up the card case to get rid of the cards, which is kind of nice. And you don't have to worry about squaring these cards because all they see is, well, at least 3 cards, but they won't notice the absence of the 4th card because you don't get to count the cards there. So it's 3 cards, but they can't tell. And the rest is, well, what you see is what you get. You pick up a break above the bottom 2 cards. Swing cut, I don't know, about a 4th or a 5th, or however many, and you tell them to say stop on any number card, and it's really just for contrast. So then, if you pass their card, it's nice to say if I pass your mystery card, just ignore it. And then you come to whatever card, say the 5 of diamonds, you flip this face down, you do the Ellis Stanion, whatever the hell that move is called, where you just, standard sort of thing. Turn this over, put those cards on top, show this card, and get the retention of vision, put these cards aside, and this just, I think it looks just really nice. It goes 3rd from the top, so really all you have to do is pull down the bottom card rather than thumb counting 2. You just pull down the bottom card, you automatically put it in 3rd from the top. And you do this sort of a simple false count where you just reload the 1st card and show 5 cards with their card in the center. Put the cards in the bottom, in the center. Do whatever, and do an Elmsley count, showing nothing but blue backs. But the convincer, of course, is that you now show all the cards singly. I mean, you're really just showing all those cards. You put them together, get the Queen of Hearts in this case at the bottom, and do an all-rum count. I'm looking at the camera thing, so I want to just whatever, but it's an all-rum count, and you've shown those cards, so they don't really care about those anyway. And you get the same picture again, where somewhere in there is 1 face-down card, and lo and behold, of course, this face-down card happens